Good afternoon. I'm Russ Sapienza. I'm a senior advisor to Matt and Lance here at Advertising Week, and in a prior life, helped lead the sports and entertainment media practice at PwC Consulting. And I'm here with a longtime friend and former client, David Levy. If you love March Madness, you know David. If you love Bleacher Report, you know David. Remember Bleacher Report?
I do.
We did the due diligence on Bleacher Report, I think. If you love Shaq and Ernie and the guys for basketball, you know David. He was the powerhouse behind that as an executive at Turner Sports, and is now at Horizon Sports and Entertainment. We're here for actually a little doubleheader. First David, and then Manny Puentes from Genius Sports. We're going to have these little chats. Advertising Week is 20 years old, and we're here to talk about the next 20. I looked back and said, well, what happened 20 years ago when Advertising Week just started in the sports world and in other worlds? I found that Martha Stewart went to jail 20 years ago. For those of you who were probably in 8th grade back then, you're like, she went to jail? She went to jail?
I had darker hair.
I had hair. Yeah, Martha Stewart went to jail for what? Insider trading. Insider trading. Barry Bonds. She looked good in orange. Barry Bonds passed Willie Mays as the home run king back then. The Red Sox won their first World Series in 86 years, which is kind of crazy. Looking at some Mets fans here tonight. Janet Jackson had her wardrobe malfunction. What else? Oh, Lionel Messi was 17 years old. This is 20 years ago. All 20 years ago. Lionel Messi was 17 years old and started for FC Barcelona back then. So that kind of gives us some context of where the sports world and maybe social was. Facebook was just founded. Google IPO'd. Bluetooth had just become a thing. Flickr was the kind of photo sharing platform then. Well, we're a long ways away from that.
I wish I bought some Facebook.
Yeah. So, David, let's talk a little bit about the next 20 then, since the past 20 is pretty forgettable in many ways. You started a company with a partner that's looking to take IP, media consulting, experiences to a new level in new areas. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about what's going on.
So thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yeah. So to me, this is all moving in a very interesting direction. Sports, and if you're in the sports business, you have a smiling face right now on you because the sports business continues. I hear every year that the bubble's going to burst, and in fact, the bubble hasn't burst in 20 years or even 40 years. And I still believe there's a tremendous amount of growth in the sports business. My company, HS&E, we're focused on live is the new digital. We really believe live and sports are live, but there's also about experiences and activations and things of that nature. And the ownership or creation of IP of live events is also something we're very interested in. But the key inflection point that I want to at least emphasize a little bit today is I think women's sports right now is at an inflection point. And I think it's going to spearhead even more growth in the sports business from the franchise side, from the merchandising side, from the rating side, and really from the growth of women's sports, both on TV and in social. So I think the next 20 years is going to see continuation of obviously the sports you see today, like the NFL and the NBA, but I think women's volleyball, women's softball, women's basketball, women's soccer are going to skyrocket in value, in media rights, in franchise values, and merch and everything else.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the December Classic that you've got coming up.
So we put our money where our mouth is at my company, HS&E. We've invested in a new tournament, early season women's basketball tournament called the Women's Champions Classic. It's on December 7th. It's got Connecticut, Tennessee, Iowa, and Louisville playing in its first tournament at the Barclays Center. The vision of this was very simple. In all the years that I ran Turner Sports, I saw a lot of early season tournaments for men's basketball. Games that count, but only on the men's side. I didn't see any dominant women's early season basketball. I thought there was a white space in it. So we teamed up with Fox
and we created this event. I called Gino, the Connecticut coach, and said, hey, would you do this with me for 5 years? So Connecticut's on for 5 years as the base, being in the New York sort of area. And he said yes, and we created this, and his vision was a lot of these women collegiate basketball players will never get to play basketball on an NBA court in their lives. So let's make sure we do it in the Mecca of New York. Let's make sure we do it either Madison Square Garden or the Barclays Center. Let's make sure that we treat the ladies' teams as we treat the men's. So the payment structure, I don't know if you guys know how you have to pay the teams to come and play. I paid the teams as if they were men's teams, put the same level of financial backing behind it, and creating this incredible environment. Thank you.
And sponsorships too.
And the key, again, we can work in the sponsorship side too. One of the other things I thought was missing in women's sports is the beauty category. You see the Allstate sponsoring, you see State Farm, you see AT&T, but you don't see L'Oreal, Maybelline, CoverGirl. Where are they? Where are they in women's sports? And so I made it a mandate for my sales organization to find and let's figure out how to get a title sponsor for this, but let's make it different and unique than any other title sponsor you'd ever see in a basketball. And Shark Beauty came on 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure in this room maybe people don't know what Shark Beauty is, but it's one of the leading manufacturers of all women's, not beauty products, but blow dryers and hair products and things of that nature. So they are the title sponsor, Shark Beauty's Women's Champions Classic. And I believe that is going to change and wake up a lot of these brands that have been sponsoring, yes, the Academy Awards, the Oscars, the Emmys, but not women's sports. And I think that's the inflection point that's going to change things.
Yeah, when you see we talked the other day about the all states and all. At some point, does the viewer stop listening to that because you've seen Jake a lot? God bless Jake. We love Jake. But when do you stop listening, and when do you start listening to something that's new and fresh?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've never seen more texts and emails when that announcement came out to me saying, who is Shark Beauty and how'd you get it? And I think you're going to see a lot of that change in all women's sports.
Was it hard convincing Shark Beauty to get involved in this? And
no, the pitch was very simple. You guys will stand out. You'll break glass. This will be known as the inaugural event that Shark Beauty broke glass, and that I think other beauty products and endemics are going to start coming in. Listen, sitting in my old job at Turner, no one's putting on women's sports to do what's good, what's right. People are putting on women's sports because it's a good ROI. Yeah. Okay? They're not doing it for the love of the game. They're doing it because it works. And you're starting to see that change, the ratings change, and people that sat in my role, and I was privileged to sit in that role, the new people that sit in these roles at Fox and at Disney and so forth, you're starting to see where the WNBA is showing up in primetime on ABC. You're seeing that women's college basketball is showing up. And again, if you're following social, I don't know, anybody follow Coach Jackie J? You know who that is? Anybody? No. Well, Coach Jackie J is on TikTok, and she covers women's sports. And she's on my feeds, and no one will know this, but Pittsburgh's volleyball team right now is 7-0 in winnings, but they haven't lost any of their games. So they're 21-0 because if you win a volleyball match, it's 3-0. So they're 21-0. These are the things that's happening online that I think the new generation of fans, the Gen Zs, this is where they're getting their information from.
Do you have an example or two of the activations that Shark Beauty is going to have at Barclays?
We do. So this is going to be unique because this is part of my company, but there's going to be, and I may not say this right, but what do they call it? Dry bars? Is that so? So dry bars are going to be all over the Barclays Center, where women can go get their hair done before the game with their fathers, with their daughters, with their wives, and so forth. And that has never happened.
We have a dry bar around the corner too, right?
That is
female kosher.
That has never happened. You don't need a dry bar. Yeah. That's never happened. I don't remember ever seeing a dry bar set up in basketball arenas. So the other thing that we're involved in is a new 3-on-3 women's basketball league called Unrivaled. It starts in January. It's going to take the top 30 WNBA players and put them in a 3-on-3 league down in Miami. The only person we haven't signed yet is Caitlin Clark. Please hold your breath. I'm hoping to announce that soon. But Angel Reese and all the names that you would know are involved. Plum are in. This is a way for women not have to travel overseas, not have to play over in Europe, in countries they don't like or don't speak the language, don't have any Brittany Griners situations happen in Russia. So now they can stay in the United States, earn a great salary, probably equal to what they would have gotten in Europe, if not more, as well as own a piece of the league.
Right.
So we're going to make a big announcement in the next 2 weeks. We have a new distribution partner for this league. This league also is going to have a one-on-one tournament, which is going to be pretty exciting. I don't think anybody in any league has ever done a one-on-one. Like, can you imagine if the NBA in there, I think it'd be a good idea.
I've got
I think that'd be a
winners.
good idea for the All-Star weekend to have a one-on-one tournament. But we're doing it during the All-Star weekend of the NBA. We're going to stop our league and have all 30 players play in a one-on-one tournament. Think about if Genius Sports, who's on next, think about if Genius Sports comes up with odds on these one-on-one games and who is going to be crowned the best WNBA player in the league.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, you've hooked your wagon to pickleball.
Yeah.
Any pickleball players out here? Wow, okay, we got half a dozen. Explain why pickleball.
So my partner, Chris Weil, and I, when we started the agency, we said we wanted to be in 5 key areas from an IP perspective, not from a brand consulting perspective, but an IP perspective. Women's sports, we just talked about. We believe soccer is a huge growth with the World Cup coming here and everything else. Yeah. We believe that golf has real opportunity, not the PGA that you all watch every day, but I think golf in general just has a huge opportunity in growth in a lot of different areas, especially with influencers. Formula One, we're very involved in Formula One of a lot of our clients. And lastly was pickleball. And so my partner looked at me and goes, why pickleball? And I said, it's the fastest growing sport in America. We've got to get involved from the grassroots. Everybody's playing it. You realize that close to 40 million people today play pickleball, which was, you go back 5 years ago, there may have been, 100,000.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So it's growing in leaps and bounds. And the idea that we came up with is, I'm not really involved in professional pickleball, and question mark whether professional pickleball will be a television sport. I do professional pickleball will last forever. Just not sure it's a TV product to be determined. I think it could be, but we don't know yet. But the product that we developed is we took the biggest names in racket sports. So the first one we did was called the Pickleball Slam. It had McEnroe, Agassi, Roddick, and Chang play for $1 million purse live on ESPN down in Hollywood, Florida at the Hard Rock Casino. And Agassi and Roddick won the first one. We then brought in the women's side. We brought in Steffi Graf, who had been disappeared for God knows how many years, who came back to play with Agassi, her husband, against Sharapova and McEnroe, which they won. And now they're going to defend in Vegas. We're bringing the event to Vegas. And it's going to be Agassi and Steffi against Jeannie Bouchard and Roddick. So these are destination programming. Think about this from my perspective. Live, I talked to you about live as the new digital. We have a huge digital platform on this. We have ticket sales, merchandising, and live on ESPN. Right. So that pickleball is going to work on TV. The other pickleball, professional pickleball, until they find their Tiger Woods or they find their Wayne Gretzky or they find their Michael Jordan, which they will at some point. Yeah. It'll depend how much that can grow. But from a grassroots perspective and people playing it, 100% pickleball is here to stay. Right. Not going away.
We've got 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
This is tough.
That was fast.
We could do 45 hours.
Okay.
With David. So once again, we're talking about the next 20. I'm guessing it's not darts or bowling out there. What do you think is out there though? That's kind of
I'd say women. Pickleball. I'm really focused on women's volleyball. I think there's a real love for the game, and I'm not talking about beach volleyball. I'm talking about volleyball. I mean, that Pittsburgh
Yeah, you
game-
watch Penn State and some of these teams play.
Well,
They're on CBS Sports.
Penn State lost to
intense.
Pitt. That's something
Yeah.
I found out this morning. I didn't know that. But Penn State lost to Pitt. But my point is there were 11,000 people in the arena to see Penn play Pitt women's volleyball. I mean, it's just, guys, it's here, it's happening. And I think from a standpoint of ROI, the ROI is going to be really good because to get women volleyball on TV is not going to be that expensive.
Right. David, thank you. I appreciate it.
Sorry it was so quick.